up, fam? Today we're going to do a video on a topic that was ranked #1 on a poll that I did on my Instagram. Do carbon-plated shoes work for slower runners? Some, but not all carbon-plated shoes work for slower runners. And you guys are probably like, wait, what do you mean? We're going to talk about slower in the terms of overall fitness as a runner, but we also must take into consideration body weight and body mechanics when running to decide which shoe or which carbon-plated shoe would work for slower runners. Overall, with carbon-plated shoes, runners that are either too heavy or too light will not reap the ultimate benefits of the carbon-plated shoe in terms of loading the foam and the plate efficiently. I don't know if you guys know this, but no carbon-plated shoe currently on the market is actually made with 100% carbon fiber. Most shoes are actually made with about 10 to 20% carbon fiber within the plate, which means you need to take into consideration whether that shoe is going to feel more or less stiff to that runner. The design of the stiffness of said shoe would also change the efficiency for that said runner, which would lead to the objectivity of that runner deciding which shoe they would like based on comfort. But at the end of the day, if you want to figure out which shoe is best for you, I suggest you find a physiology lab and run with each pair of shoe, and they can measure, your metabolic parameters and efficiency with running in either shoe. Now, as far as I know, on the Nike website, for the Alphafly at least, as the shoe size gets bigger, the plate gets stiffer, and they probably did that for the general consumer. I know this is probably like the third or fourth time I've said this in a video, but they probably did it for the general consumer by, I'm not too sure, either ideal body weight or overall performance, probably based more so on fit, sub-elite, elite, or professional runners, on efficiency of loading a carbon plate within a marathon-specific shoe. Now, the negatives of choosing a shoe based on the general consumer concept. Now, I don't know if other companies do this with their shoes in terms of size and stiffness, so if you guys know, comment down below because I would love to know. But generally speaking, if you are a overall lighter runner with a big foot, chances are the plate's going to be more stiff and you're going to have a hard time loading it more efficiently. And the same thing goes the other way. If you're a more heavier runner with a smaller foot, chances are the plate is going to be less stiff, so you're going to load the plate too much and not load it as efficiently for what it's made to do. And since shoes are probably designed more towards elite, sub-elite, and professional runners, generally speaking, the more fit you become, the more likely you're able to load the shoe efficiently. Also, chances are the more fit you become, the more likely you are closer to your ideal body weight or race weight, which will be a topic for another video. And as you become more fit, there's a higher probability that you're going to be more of a forefoot, midfoot striker, which a lot of these shoes are made to be striked upon. So these super shoes currently on the market are made to be run at faster speeds. You will reap the benefits running at a certain speed. The reason why I say, they're meant to be more of a midfoot, forefoot striker when it comes to the shoe, not all shoes currently on the market are, but for example, look at the Nike Vaporfly. The design of the shoe is purposefully has the rubber within, the midfoot and forefoot, and the back half of the shoe is literally ZoomX because they are made to land on midfoot. So avoid the heel strike in those type of shoes. Now, statistically speaking, slower runners tend to be more of a heel striker, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So you guys may be wondering, hey, there are some super shoes that on the market that have, rubber towards the back of the heel, such as the Asics Metaspeed Sky and the New Balance Fuel Cell RC Elite version 2. I'm gonna explain why I think they are designed the way they are. First, they probably do it for the life of the shoe, because adding more rubber on the back of the shoe would obviously increase the life and the durability of the shoe. And guys, understand that these shoes on the market are marathon-specific shoes. It is not uncommon for marathoners in the later stages of a race, even if they're midfoot or forefoot strikers, to shift to more of a heel strike because their body is in a fatigue state. So that could be an advantage to using a shoe like this at that point. If the shoe has rubber towards the back of the heel, chances are it probably was designed to be made more for a heel striker type runner. Now guys, keep in mind that companies have patents on placements of plates within shoes, curvature and design of plates within the shoe, and position of the plate within the foam/shoe. Because of patents and designs of certain shoes, companies have to work around these patents while still focusing on performance. So you guys at home may be asking, so wait, what about carbon-plated trainers? The trainers that are supposed to go hand in hand with the race shoe for that shoe brand. They are probably better for slower speeds, so we'll get to that in a second. It's the cheaper version of the main shoe that you want to keep fresh for race day. Now, carbon plate trainers probably have a lower amount of carbon fiber within the plate of the shoe to be not as stiff and obviously not hurt you as much. I'll talk about that in another video, why I am against running in carbon plated shoes 24/7. But also remember, back in the day, I believe the Zoom Fly 1 or 2 had a nylon plate and not a carbon fiber plate. So obviously, as time's changing and innovation is changing and design is changing and performance is changing, the market's going to have to move with it in order to keep with consumer demand. So that's probably why you see all these changes and all these companies designing different types of trainers that go with their ideal, marathon racing shoe. So if carbon plated trainers are probably meant for slower runners, probably the plate is not as stiff, probably have more coverage and protection on the back of the foot. So if you're more of a heel striker, or maybe if you're a heavier runner, you can get away with running in a carbon plated trainer. So you're probably asking, why not just race in a carbon plated trainer if I'm a slower runner than the regular iteration? What I'm going to say is, you want to teach yourself how to fish. You don't want to give yourself a fish. Understand you're running not only for the enjoyment and the health, but you're doing it for the fitness so that you can wear the faster shoes and continue to improve. And your body's going to adapt very specifically to the shoe you're planning on racing in. So that's why I would stick to that shoe. Now, even if you are a heavier runner or somehow can't load the plate efficiently, at least you think you don't, unless you go to a physiology lab and figure out what shoe is best for you. The advent of modern-day carbon-plated shoes has allowed everyone, regardless of what kind of runner you are, to be able to have less recovery time between hard workouts and races, which is a plus regardless if you are, a slower runner. Also, take into consideration why you want to use the shoe in the first place. Do you want to run fast? Do you want to lessen, the recovery time between workouts and races? Do you want to look fast? Do you want to feel good? But with that stuff being said prior, this is how I would go about deciding if you're a slower runner, or define yourself as a slower runner. You shouldn't define yourself as a slower runner. Should you wear carbon-plated shoes? So if you consider yourself a slower runner, statistically, you're probably more of a heel striker. And if you're like, hey, I'm a heel striker, try to find a carbon-plated shoe that has reinforcement in the heel, rubber in the back half of the underside of the shoe. Chances are it's probably designed to load from the heel rather than the midfoot or forefoot. You can also try the trainer version if you would like. But if you are running really slow, you're probably not getting the benefit of the combination of the foam the shoe is using and the carbon fiber plate, but you're still probably getting the benefit of not trashing your legs, especially if you wear a super shoe running slow in a marathon, obviously 26.2 miles on your legs. Your legs are probably going to feel a lot more fresher than if you weren't wearing a carbon plated foamy shoe. Now, high stack height carbon plated shoes are much more unstable the slower you go. The carbon-plated shoe is relatively stiff compared to other shoes, which means you may have a higher probability, especially if you're on the heavier side, of rolling an ankle, higher probability of transmitting excess forces up the kinematic chain, which can lead to an overuse running-related injury. These shoes are made to run fast and straight ahead, literally. Generally speaking, carbon-plated shoes are not durable. It's pretty easy to eat through the specialized foams of the shoe, especially if you are a heel striker running in a carbon-plated shoe that does not have reinforced rubber towards the back half of the shoe. If you are a little bit on the heavier side, if you have more ground contact time with your foot, if you're clawing the ground more, different surfaces, obviously, it's going to wear down the bottom of the shoe in different spots and a lot quicker. So chances are, if you are a slower runner, you're probably going to eat through that $250 shoe a lot quicker than if you are a more efficient or more fit runner. These shoes should only be worn in workouts and races. So guys, to answer your question, do carbon-plated shoes work for slower runners? That is up for debate, and that is for you to decide. It's a very broad topic, and you can't just have it be a yes or no question. You're going to have to look at all your options currently on the market and figure out which shoe is best for you. Look at how the shoe is designed, whether it's made for a heel striker, a midfoot striker, or a forefoot striker. Feel how stiff the plate is to you. Objectively speaking, chances are you're probably going to pick the shoe that you like the most. And chances are, if it's the shoe you like the most, it's probably the shoe you're going to perform best in. See if you can get into a physiology lab, because that way you'll be able to tell which shoe is most efficient for you metabolically. If you feel like you wear down shoes a lot, either from having high ground contact time, too much friction, being a little bit on the heavier side, then you could probably get away with a trainer version of the shoe, because trainers tend to have more reinforced rubber within the bottom of the shoe. Understand that you're probably using this to run well in a marathon. They are marathon shoes after all. And even if you don't consider yourself fast, the benefit and the technology of the carbon plate and the foam that is used within a shoe is definitely going to make your legs feel a lot better over 26.2 miles than a shoe that doesn't have that technology. Guys, comment down below what you think. Do carbon plated shoes work for slower runners? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for when I post my next video. Love you guys. Catch you guys next time. Peace.